Disclaimer.
The following content is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained in this presentation constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer by BTC Media, the Let's Talk Bitcoin Network, or any third-party service provider to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments. Well, hey there. Welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
So, Dave, back in June, our company put on the Bitcoin 2019 conference, and I thought it was a smashing success.
It was awesome.
It really was. I think the coolest thing was just getting to see all the really great people there and just sort of see the community come together like that.
People were incredible. Speakers were incredible.
Yeah, there really were some great speakers. The crowd was awesome. But we had some really awesome sponsors too. And I really can't stress this enough. They were hugely instrumental in making the conference possible.
Indeed. Those are the kind of companies that are really helping push the decentralized movement to giving more people power over their financial situation.
Yeah, really. And we had the opportunity to snag a few of them and do quick interviews at the conference. And we're going to be featuring a couple of those today on the show.
Right. We'll be hearing from Sean Rach, CMO of Crypto.com, and Jenny Shaver, COO at Salt Lending.
Yeah, these were just short little fun interviews. We just talked a little bit about their companies, you know, how they got into crypto, and we had a little bit of fun with end of the year Bitcoin price predictions.
Right. But I will say some of those were pretty high.
I would agree with you, Dave. But at the time, Bitcoin was sort of on the uptick, and there was a buzz in the air. That had nothing to do with the conference.
Yeah, even during that buzz, though, I made a prediction, and I'm still pretty confident in it, Graham.
What was that again, Dave?
25K in a year.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right. I think I'm going to change mine. I initially said 18.5. I think I'm going to go with 13.5.
Pessimistic.
I don't agree with that word. It's still, you know, it's 3.5K more where it's at now. So, I mean, it's an improvement.
Well, buddy, if we were saying that we knew what was going on, we would be lying. So anything can happen.
Anything could happen. We'll just have to wait and see, Dave.
There's really nothing else we can do.
Well, that is true, but that's kind of just with anything in life, really.
Well, before we get into the news and our interviews, we'd like to take a quick moment to talk about the CoinMine 1.
Yes, the CoinMine 1. In our last ad, I said that I was mining Bitcoin. That's not exactly true. It's come to my attention that the CoinMine 1 does not actually mine Bitcoin.
Oh?
Ugh. Yes, but it does convert the altcoins that it does mine, that's Monero, Dash, Zcash, and Ethereum, into Bitcoin automatically. So it's still plug in and play, and I chose Bitcoin, and I'm still getting Bitcoin.
Okay, so I get it. Technically, it's not the same thing. You're not actually mining Bitcoin, but the end result is the user still can get Bitcoin if they want it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I love the design of it. It's super stylish and cool, and it's really quiet, unlike other GPU miners.
Yeah, seriously. We plugged that thing in like a week ago, and it's like 3 feet away. I've not heard it at all. I didn't even know it was plugged in, actually.
I forgot it was down there. I didn't even hear it. And you know what, Dave? It pulls less power than a PlayStation, so we're not sitting here worrying about our electricity bill, even though we don't pay it.
Also a great way to stack sats.
Stack those sats, indeed. Shout out to Marty Bent and Matt Odell for coming up with that awesome little phrase that we're all getting behind. I'm pretty sure they came up with it.
For real.
Yeah, but CoinMine 1, it's also a Bitcoin Lightning node, and you can send and receive Bitcoin to anyone, anywhere in the world for free.
That's pretty cool.
It's super cool. And, you know, on top of that, it's a perfect device if you've ever had a remote interest in mining, but you didn't want to go through all the technical hassle like myself.
Yeah, I'm not exactly technically gifted.
Yeah, me either. But That's why I like the CoinMine one. Plugged it in, set up the app on my phone, and I said I want Bitcoin, so it's pretty cool. If you're interested in checking these out, maybe getting one for yourself, visit coinmine.com/bitmag and you'll get $50 off. Again, that's coinmine.com/bitmag for $50 off. Don't worry, we'll post a link in the show notes in case you forget or you want to come back to it some other time.
And we'll also be doing a CoinMine giveaway this Thursday, the 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to follow Bitcoin Magazine at Bitcoin Magazine on Twitter. Keep an eye out for that post, which will include giveaway details.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that. It'll be pretty general, like, retweet, follow CoinMine, something simple, but just keep an eye out for that. And if you want to take a closer look at the CoinMine, check out another link in the show notes to the CoinMine unboxing video. That's pretty cool.
Now, time for the news. In a bid to make Bitcoin programming a little bit easier, 3 engineers from Blockstream have developed Miniscript, a simpler version of Script, which is the current programming language used in Bitcoin transactions. Miniscript is meant to serve as a curated collection of tools from the full script toolkit, making it easier to use and verify for human programmers. Though Miniscript is still a work in progress, earlier versions have been released and used.
And speaking of smart people writing things for Bitcoin, an academic paper was recently released with some bullish implications. The paper, called How Do Private Currencies Affect Government Policy, was written by professors from New York University and McGill University. It concluded that non-fiat currencies like Bitcoin can generate welfare for citizens and play a significant role in economies with high volatility. In short, it was another testament to Bitcoin as a global hedge against state-controlled economies, citing Venezuela as an example.
Of course, despite Bitcoin's success as free money in Venezuela, regulators in the U.S. are grappling with how to potentially oversee it. To that end, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo voiced his opinion that cryptocurrency transactions should be regulated as standard electronic transactions. We should use the same framework that we use to regulate all financial transactions today, Pompeo told CNBC. That's essentially what these are. Pompeo did acknowledge the inherent difficulty in applying traditional regulations to new technology like Bitcoin, but he stood firm on his idea.
Meanwhile, halfway across the world, major flooding has been disrupting the global center for Bitcoin mining. China's Sichuan province has experienced waves of flooding, leading to substantial damage at significant Bitcoin mining facilities. Cryptocurrency mining pool Poolin, for instance, posted footage of the damage on Twitter. Some estimates hold that more than 70% of Bitcoin mining takes place in China, and Sichuan is a particularly attractive area as it offers an abundance of hydroelectric power. As some of the world's largest mining operations recover from the damage, the Bitcoin network's hash rate should too.
Throughout the end of August, Bavarian entrepreneur Vitus Zeller and a group of Bitcoiners known as Team Satoshi will be running the Satoshi Freeathlon. The triathletes will swim, run, and bike from Zug, Switzerland to Munich, Germany, all to raise awareness for Bitcoin. Throughout the journey, they will be passing a Lightning Network torch to each other. Zeller told Bitcoin Magazine, "I believe Bitcoin needs more voices from within the ecosystem that show openly that they stand for this. And sports is a great way of doing that."
Our first interview is with Sean Rach, CMO of Crypto.com. Crypto.com is one of those brave companies trying to accelerate cryptocurrency adoption by offering a full range of financial services blended with crypto.
Could you tell me a little bit about Crypto.com?
You bet. Yeah. So we're a company that started in 2016. Crypto, with a name like that, you would expect we do something in crypto, but crypto trading and payments company. We've got a Visa credit card that allows you to spend your crypto wherever Visa is accepted. With that comes a crypto wallet with a range of not only the coins and tokens, but then a range of other services such as our Crypto Earn, Crypto Invest, and Crypto Credit. So really the full range of financial services, all infused with crypto.
Yeah, and you told me that you're based in Hong Kong.
Yep.
And you live in Hong Kong
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Well, so yeah, and I also want to know how your jet lag is, because you actually seem like you're doing
I'm doing all
pretty
right.
good.
Yeah. Well, we've had a busy last couple days. Just before the conference kicked off, we announced our U.S. card launch, something we've been working on for quite a while, and so that's been announced to be next month, July 14th, 7/14, as some people would know. But really looking forward to that. Something we've been working on for quite a while, getting through all the various hoops and yo-yos that we have to do, but we're really looking forward to bringing it to the United States.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I think the proposition, what we've been doing is we've, as you said, we're based in Hong Kong. We used Singapore as really a test market, got all the operational kinks out of the system, and now we're ready to bring it to the United States. With that has come a range of regulatory and filings and all of those things that we need to do to be able to bring our services to customers here. And basically 7/14 is the time to kick it off. And it basically becomes available to everyone. Right now, it's a reservation standpoint. You use our MCO token to depending on the tier that you reserve a card. You also use the token for a range of utility, getting benefits on the platform, whether it's fees being waived or discounts and stuff like that.
And this is a specific question.
Sure.
And if you can't answer, it's perfectly fine. But I'm just curious, what were more of the difficult regulatory hurdles you had to overcome to look into launching a product in the U.S.?
I think for us, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a difficulty. For us, it's not new. All the things that aren't necessarily what a Bitcoin maximalist would want, things like KYC, and then how we actually are managing our data to not only from a customer data and privacy perspective, but on the other side, we've also got all the information security and then crypto security, making sure that all of those things are fitting together properly. Probably, I wouldn't call them challenges or things that we didn't know, but things that we've been working on very hard.
Yeah. And yes, so I was just curious between the U.S. and Hong Kong, the difference in regulations.
I think maybe not necessarily Hong Kong. I think why we had started off for taking customers initially in Singapore is that the regulatory framework there wasn't particularly friendly or unfriendly. It was just clear. They were very clear about what they would want to do. If you go back in time in 2017, the U.S., because it's regulated primarily by states, it's been a little bit more difficult because you have to meet certain requirements per state. And so that process has just taken longer than we would have hoped, but it's something to do right and do well, and then we're ready to take it forward.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're making a good point where it's not necessarily tough regulations or easy regulations. A lot of times it can just be a lack of clarity or clarity.
Yeah, exactly. I think for any business, not just crypto related, but any business just needs to know what the lay of the land is. And then if you are in business and want to be in business, then you play by those rules. And for us, that's never been a negotiable or something that we've ever tried to go in the gray area. Just play it straight down the line.
So crypto.com, I'm looking at your website right now.
Yeah.
And I see a few different parts of your business. And the new ones are credit and earn.
Yes.
Can you explain credit and then earn?
Yeah, definitely. So maybe I'll use earn as probably the easiest one that people can understand is the opportunity to deposit a range of cryptos, BTC, LTC, XRP, ETH, MCO. Do I get full credit? Think those are all of them. But if you deposit those, we'll pay you interest in those currencies back, whether at a 3-month, a 1-month, or a flexible term. So from that perspective, anyone who's a holder of and holder being HODL of a currency can hold on to them and actually get a guaranteed 8% if they're at the maximum. Which is, again, with our token, if you hold some of the MCO token and stake it, you get that benefit. On the other side, it is not exactly how banks work, but it's a similar type of thing. If you take deposits in, then you lend deposits out. And in the case of our credit product, it's a collateralized loan. So you deposit your crypto in, and then you have the ability to go spend it. So we give you kind of a credit line based on, in this case, BTC is about 40% LTV, so that you can then take it out in a stable coin and you're able to spend it. And so that's kind of the balance that we're looking at, is that people want those services. If you believe in your crypto and you say, hey, I think I hold some Bitcoin, I would need to spend it, but I don't want to lose those coins because I think they're going to appreciate in value. Here's a credit line that allows you to go ahead and spend it and then pay it back. And once you pay it back, you get all your crypto back as well.
Okay. And Sean, how big is Crypto.com as far as a company goes?
Yeah, we've grown pretty rapidly. We're now about 130 people, and we've got offices, small offices in Singapore and the United States, and our biggest office is in Hong Kong. We also have a back office in Eastern Europe.
Oh, okay. And so with a lot of people we've talked to today, we've sort of asked them about their experiences in the bear market.
Sure.
Primarily, we're thinking about Bitcoin, but I'm not sure how much it applies to your business.
Definitely.
But we're always curious to hear what's something interesting that you as an individual or your company has learned through going through the bear market.
Yeah, I think for us, just as I kind of made the joke with the word hold, the other one is the word build. And whenever time there's a bear market, it's a time to build. And our team, probably if we go back to the beginning of the bear market, we probably were around 50 people. And so we've grown to 130, a range of new products launched. All of those been built during the bear market. And the intention is that while people are on the sidelines, we need to make our products even better. And then be able to bring them out. And then if the bear market happens to die out and move into bull, which of course we're hoping is the case, then we're ready for that, and we can get the benefit of coming out of the bear market into the bull market.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that you're not jumping on the fact that we're in a bull market now. I think many people,
we hope,
including myself, have sort of like caught ourselves in saying, now that we're out of the bear market, which I don't know if that's necessarily true. Yeah,
touch wood.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. As far as the next year goes, I know you have this launch of your product in July.
Yep.
But I'm just curious. What are you excited for, looking forward to, thinking about opportunities-wise for Crypto.com?
Yeah, I think for us, if you put it in one word, it's the word adoption. And if you try to think through, okay, if you've built, a ability to buy and sell a range of tokens, you then have a range of services that you can then provide off of that. Those are all kind of setting up. But then we have the other side, which the Visa card is part of it. The MCO Visa card provides one method of payment. But we spent a lot of time during the bear market actually starting up our own blockchain to provide cryptocurrency transaction settlement. So the ability to directly transact in crypto. So several different variants of those. One is kind of like a Crypto.com pay button on a website that would spawn a QR code, one of those two-dimensional barcodes that you scan with the phone. It spawns your crypto wallet. You select the payment, and you can pay directly. So we've demoed that. You can go to shop.crypto.com to try it out for yourself. That, and then the other one is probably even more difficult, which is actually how do we do crypto transactions at retail point of sale without changing the point of sale? And so we've been working on some things. We just recently demoed that, which shows the ability now, not a 2D barcode, but a regular barcode, that a point of sale in many retailers, they can scan that barcode. Again, it goes through the same process of pulling into your app. You select the crypto and you make the payment. The merchant didn't change anything. The merchant still gets paid in fiat, but you are paying out in crypto. And so the ability to do that will really start to bring that barrier that we've had of crypto transactions to a close. It's not requiring someone to have a Bitcoin point of sale or a Ethereum point of sale. Having a wallet that then can provide those QR codes or the barcodes seems to be the way forward, and that's what we're working on right now. So, over the next 6, maybe 12 months, we really hope to see that help to drive the adoption.
That's very interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then thinking externally about like the cryptocurrency industry in general, what do you see as a major hurdle for the next year, or obstacle, however you want to look at it?
Well, that's maybe the same answer. Gosh, I'm not trying to get out of it, but it is the adoption story. Is that while you've seen a number of projects come online, you've seen massive amounts of money being put into invested into projects, we should start to actually see that come to fruition, where you're going to have the harvest of, hey, someone put some money in an ICO or an IEO or whatever the case is, and now we're going to start to see that come to life. I think that's great. What will those problems that will be solved with those solutions? There's a whole range of those going on. The question, I think, still comes back to, how do we go beyond being either speculative or just being a method of payment, which is simply transfer money me to you? If it now becomes something that can be used at retail, then I think it opens up the whole financial services sector. And that's really what I think a whole bunch of us, ourselves, and we wouldn't really call them competitors, but people in the same space are raising up loud and clear that there's an opportunity here that customers are not being served. You and I going to a bank, it's not a 100-year problem. It's not a 200-year problem. It's a 1,000-year problem. The whole way that money has been managed in the past has not been to the benefit of the customer, and we'd like to change that.
Sean, where do you think Bitcoin's going to be at the end of the year?
You knew that you checked the price
to infinity and beyond.
So
you checked the price before we started.
So I said 25,000.
All right. So for full disclosure, the number currently as we tape this was 11,700. So clearly the answer has to be at least double that. No, let's say double that. Let's say 22K, just to make it nice and easy.
Okay.
But I think the opportunity there really starts to come into looking at some of the technical fundamentals in the case of Bitcoin as a coin itself, but also that adoption. If the demand increases, the supply is fixed. Well, we'll see how it goes. But I give you a corollary to that. At Christmas dinner, I was being asked, because I'm the guy who's in crypto.
Oh, yeah.
I was being asked by a whole bunch of stock people.
We're all that person in a different...
Exactly. I think everybody who's listening to this probably has heard that one, right? So what's the S&P 500 going to be? And this is right when the S&P was taking a header. And it was like, oh, it's going to be down 20%. And I was the only guy who said up 5%. And now I'm looking like the real genius here. So at that point, Bitcoin was down, I don't know, we were down pretty bad. It's about 60% or 50% or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And, obviously the shoot up from 3,000 range to 11,700 has been great. The question is, what will be the factors that drive that? And as I said, adoption is going to be key. Are there other factors that play a part? What will be some of the barriers getting out of the way? But I think if you were to say 20,000, 22, I think it's all within realm. I mean, that goes above the last high. It puts us in a space where people, again, if people are starting to talk about it, it's plausible. So might as well say something good like that.
Yeah,
I won't say 100,000 and go to a Caribbean boat and cause trouble, but it's all good.
Wait, who are you talking about?
I don't know.
Like if it was like 75 or 100,000, I think we would have problems. I think I think genuinely like everyone in this conference would be flooded in one way or another.
It would be crazy.
And here's to being optimistic but realistic.
Well, yeah, I think the other thing is I think if you actually want to see the ecosystem grow, the overblown speculation is probably not the best thing. Mm-hmm. But if there's a rational reason that we can begin to ratchet towards that, I think that's fair. I think where, I guess for us, we have felt a bit of a challenge is that the market, and especially, let's say, the mass media, they did a great job to make sure that everyone knew what Bitcoin was. but not what Bitcoin was or what it was about. So then it's all been about the train wrecks or the ambulance chasing.
Yeah.
This got hacked or this didn't work or whatever the case is, versus, real use cases. And I think as those come to fore, hopefully the tone will change dramatically. And that will give people something else to think about besides just the speculative bubble.
Our second interview is with Jenny Shaver, COO of Salt Lending. Salt has gotten a lot of attention lately for being a part of the burgeoning industry of crypto-backed lending. Hey, Jenny. So earlier we were talking about getting into crypto, and from what I understand, you came from American Express.
Yeah.
Could you just tell me more about that story?
Yeah, it's about as stodgy and traditional finance as it gets. No, I mean, I started off as a coder. I was a full stack web developer. Really got more interested in sort of the strategy behind those kinds of projects, and wound my way through advertising and then into financial services at American Express, doing process engineering around digital transformation, agile at scale, and then digital product management for financial services products, which is really a fun tension of how you create an easy, intuitive user experience with something that's very complicated and regulatory heavy and compliance driven. And then really American Express and a lot of traditional finance started whispering about blockchain, right? And it became this sort of FOMO, okay, we know what blockchain is, we think, right? But we think we need it, right? Because everybody's talking about it. We don't want to get left behind. So we're going to do this hackathon. We would do internal hackathons, which was very cool. But they're like, okay, we're going to do the hackathon, but make sure blockchain's incorporated in some way. And so we're like, what? But that's when I first started hearing about it. And I knew that this was something that was going to just be a wave, right? That was going to hit big. And then when I moved from New York to Denver, I was looking for an opportunity here. And just by luck, by fate and circumstance, found Salt. And then, didn't really know anything about crypto. Was really more interested in sort of blockchain application for financial services. And then just got hooked, right? The project was very cool. The caliber of people there were just it blew me away, impressive. And yeah, I've been there over a year and just completely obsessed now with the project. And now you're actually starting to see more mass adoption of blockchain in different sort of ways in traditional finance. And then projects like Salt and others are going strong.
Yeah, and can you sort of break down what Salt does? I mean, obviously, lending is the big product.
Yeah.
Just all parts of the business.
Yeah. So, I mean, summary is we're a crypto-backed lender, right? We were one of the first ones, or maybe the first one in the space. We've been live on our platform since December 2017, and then sort of revamped the platform last August, which was right in the middle of sort of the crash and sort of the bear market, which actually was, I think, a blessing in a way. We weathered that, and we were able to sort of really focus on the infrastructure of our platform. We built an incredibly performant platform for monitoring people's loans, building out a bespoke custody solution that is as performant as any of the big custody competitors out there. And really offer a product now, a full service experience where, somebody that wants to take a long position on their crypto, whether it's just an individual that is gotten in early or has a significant amount of crypto, or it's a business like a miner who, has a lot of their revenue in crypto and wants to hold it, or an ICO that has a significant amount of Bitcoin and wants to hold it on their balance sheet. And we can provide liquidity solutions through term loans. We pay out in fiat and stablecoin. We're and again working to increase the amount of chains we support, and then more convenient funding options like stablecoins and things like that.
And can you sort of explain some of the interest rate versus return rates that you offer?
Yeah. So because we offer, we're working on both sides. So for capital providers, it's great because it's this sort of indirect exposure to crypto. So we, manage all the risk. You don't have to actually invest directly in crypto if you're not quite ready for that. So if you're a hedge fund and are just looking for just some kind of indirect investment in a crypto, our returns for our investors are, going to be somewhere in the 6 to 8% range. We're operating on a really slim margin to be competitive for consumers. So on the lending and the borrowing side, we're going to offer anything between 5.9 to 12.9 % depending on sort of the riskiness of the loan of your loan to value position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the bear market earlier. Could you just explain what do you think you could go with the route of you as a individually or the SALT team in general? What do you think you've learned from going through the bear market?
Oh.
Or how about this? Let me rephrase it a different way. What's the most interesting thing you've learned through the bear market?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's that things are cyclical. We're seeing the bounce back with every bounce back too. I think over the time of Bitcoin actually, being a substantial asset class, going back 5 years with sort of the ebbs and the flows. You see, more and more sophisticated investors enter the market, and the more volume, the more scale we have, the less volatile things will become, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you're still seeing, with the market cap so small, you're seeing one major trade move the market, right? And then with all of the now automated trading bots, it's sort of like you can get a very cascading slide effect pretty quickly. So, trying to create more confidence in the marketplace, getting people to weather those storms, I think has been really important. And that just comes with just, more maturity, right? And more time. And so for me, what I've learned is that, when we have these sort of upswings, if you can provide a great customer experience, if you can provide services, even in times when like market conditions are bad, people will come back.
Yeah. And SALT, how big is SALT?
We're about 60 employees based out of Denver, and we also have a presence in Mauritius.
Okay. So what for SALT are you really excited about in the next year?
Yeah. I know we're at a Bitcoin conference, but expansion of support of different chains. There's a lot of other projects that I think are really valid in terms of an asset class, either through utility or, just a store of value. So expanding those, real world asset tokenization is also really exciting. And it's something that we've been, it's always been sort of a promise of SALT is to be able to borrow, against any kind of tokenized asset, whether it's gold or diamonds or real estate or art or whatever, right? Whatever you can tokenize and securitize, and those kinds of interesting projects that we'll be able to offer as collateral and support. As long as there's liquidity for it and it's on a chain that we can support, we'll do it, right? And so those are the kinds of things that we're really excited about. And then just like listening to our customers and providing services that they want. And that's how the Dash Masternode project came about. We had people that were Dash Masternode holders, for example, come to us and say, I'd really love to, put up my Dash as collateral, but I don't want to lose my Masternode's voting rights or passive income that I'm making off of operating this masternode. And our engineering team was able to figure it out and find a way to do it. And we're, I think the only one in the space that allows you to maintain your own bespoke masternode and be able to leverage that against the loan.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Some of those other projects, do you want to mention any in particular you're excited of?
I would love to. We're in the middle of actually signing an agreement with a gold-backed token, and so I can't say which one. But being a sort of preferred partner as part in supporting their launch. But yeah, I mean gold-backed loans is coming. Yeah.
Okay, and this is a larger question, but outside of SALT, just thinking externally, like the crypto industry in general, what are you excited about for the next year?
To me, it's just breadth, right? Reach, right? So what you're seeing at this conference here is you're seeing a lot of application layer development around sort of access and, on and off rails with payment systems, making this the broader, like I said, the broader, the better, right? In terms of weathering market volatility, getting people excited about the product, creating user experiences. Our head of product and marketing just did a talk on, designing the killer app, right? And making things beautiful and invisible so that they're easy and seamless for people to interact with. We need a lot more of that. One of my colleagues, Rob Odell, was just giving a talk here on, designing the killer app and the need for having beautiful and invisible user experience design in a way that that is going to be critical for adoption, right? It's got to be easy. And we're starting to see that with a lot of projects. So I think that's great. You're seeing things like accounting software, right? So if a company really wants to, accept Bitcoin as payments, They need to do their books in Bitcoin, right? They need to have these sorts of infrastructure tools, right? And you're starting to see those. So you'll see a lot more movement once companies can operate the way that they traditionally operate with fiat.
Yeah, so I feel like I see your career, and I see you move from a job at a big bank to something like this. And, while, you made the joke that, it's like, oh, you're working for the big banks. In a lot of ways, I see it as working in an established institution to one that's not as established. And I was just interested, what drew you to crypto?
Nothing. Right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it really was, I'm a complete, accidental fool about this.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. I was really interested in just, how can I understand blockchain better to take that information back to big finance? Because that was where my comfort zone. I was not a crypto enthusiast at all. I didn't get it, didn't understand it, it wasn't even on my radar. Complete accident landed me in this position. And I'm grateful for it. I really love the sort of disruptive nature, not just of the technology, but also what it represents. So I've bought in.
Right on.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a converted believer. So that's been really exciting, just to sort of to grow as a person and professionally in my career of just having this opportunity.
Yeah, there's tons of weirdos in this space. And it's I always think it's interesting.
I would never say that.
I always think it's interesting when someone comes from a different industry, and it's like, how did you get into? So I guess my last question would be what do you think? What do you think is important for somebody who works in the cryptocurrency industry? What is a quality they need to have?
Oh man, grit is the first thing that comes to mind. I mean, what we've been able to weather over the last year has been hard. Open-mindedness too. It's there's this really interesting tension of spectrum of anarchists to sort of conformists, right? And everywhere sort of in between of do we play with the banks or do we destroy the banks? That's sort of this, break room talk that we will have, right? And my answer is, both, right? I mean, you have to have that tension, but you also have to have the sort of open-mindedness to know, what is your end goal, right? Is it to truly disrupt the financial system? There's going to have to be some level of outreach and adoption across the spectrum. I think, there's a lot of, opinion about Libra, but I think that is potentially a great use case example of just that, a potential bridge.
Yeah. And, well, thanks. I think that's a pretty good note to end it on. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, this is great.
I do want to know what's your Bitcoin price prediction for the end of the year?
Oh, shit.
Because we've heard some wild.
We've heard some dumb answers already, so don't worry.
Okay, I mean, if we look at just market trends of the sort of up and down, and it seems like as you go into the end of the year, things get bleaker.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, I'm laughing because everybody does the same exact
okay.
Yeah, if we look at the market.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's going to be 30% less of the top price that we see this year.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So let's say we can get up to push 15K. We're going to be back down to 12, 11.5.
Okay. That's pretty conservative.
11.5. That's my prediction.
All right. Okay.
Plateau, basically.
We're going to go up and back down. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
See, that's the very pragmatic.
I'm an operator. I'm not.
That's the most rational thing I've heard in this room today.
I'm supposed to be pragmatic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We heard 75,000.
That's absurd. Yeah, that was absurd.
That would scare me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt my heart sink for some reason. What?
Yeah, that's a scary amount of
you guys get
wealth
flooded.
that's a scary amount of wealth out of thin air and unchecked, just crazy, right? I don't want that. I want a nice steady, steady go.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna scare everybody.
well, let's talk at the end of the year, and we can figure out what happened. The Bitcoin Magazine podcast is a BTC Media produced podcast on the Let's Talk Bitcoin network. Special thanks to our guests Sean Rach and Ginny Shaver. Theme music provided by Billy Sly from the Crypto Cantina. Stories in this episode were written by Bitcoin Magazine writers including Peter Chwaga, Colin Harper, Aaron Van Weerdum, Landon Manning, and Vlad Kostia. Visit bitcoinmagazine.com for more in-depth news, analysis, and resources about the most successful peer-to-peer currency, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at Bitcoin Magazine. Find and subscribe to the show wherever else you get your podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.